Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers, you're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. The Other Sean, and sitting across the Holotable from me is Josh, a.k.a. The Golden Pop-Tart.
Just another one of these weeks that there's just nothing to talk about in this game, and it's just the normal day-to-day, right?
Wait a second, we still got something.
What? Yeah, we do. I
hate it when I say that. I hate it when I say that. But it works
so well.
Yeah, we got Jar Jar. The kit is out there. We know he's coming. We know what he does and what he has a very small chance of also doing. Very, very small chance. Really bonkers kit, which kind of divisive, but everyone agrees it is bonkers. And really, that's one thing. That's the one thing that a Jar Jar kit has to be. So we'll talk about that. I think that's going to be the focal point tonight, really. How do you focus on anything but Jar Jar? That's just too big of an announcement. We also got a little bit of info about some new Lightspeed Bundles that are coming up and a new planet in territory battles. Look out. We're going to Mandalore. But not yet. Because first, we're going to celebrate some Blurf days. When I tell you that the 27th of April is one of the biggest Blurf days in the game, I mean, it's one of the biggest. We've got 5 Blurf days. 5 Blurf days. Oh my goodness. So much cake, so many fire hazards with all the candles and fireworks. You do fireworks on your birthday, right?
Oh, definitely. Every time. Yeah.
27th is, it's the threefer. Gar Saxon, Imperial Super Commando, and Gauntlet Starfighter all came out on the 27th in 2017.
Wow.
7 doggone years ago, and I still don't have all that in relics. So,
see, I was just about to say that
we're getting there.
I mean, how many years did you do the Blurf Day, and you're like, man, this is bad? Like Gar, right? It just
most of them, right?
Right.
I mean, until this last year, yeah.
And now it's one of my favorite. Obviously, 3v3 teams is definitely one of my favorite, but pretty crazy that 2017 is not the same Gar. And
no, it's funny when he came out, John was like, I don't care how bad it is, I'm doing it. I'm gonna make this work. And bless his little heart, he tried so hard to make that work. And it took him quitting the game for Gar to step up and say, you know what though, buddy, we could do this. And yeah, they're a great counter now. I love it. I will have you know that my Gar is in relics.
Ooh.
My Super Commando is in my favorites. So, I mean, maybe. If you're in my favorites, it's a definite maybe.
Oh wow. So I mean, okay, yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll get into that. That's the juicy stuff we save for the end of the show. We'll talk all about Imperial Super Commando. Let's get this Jar Jar nonsense out of here so we can focus on Super Commando. Also on the 27th, Grief Karga 4 years ago. And Tarful 1 year ago, who just became accelerated because he's at that 1 year point. He's all grown up.
I know.
And I just finished him.
It was perfect timing.
Just finished him. Yeah. Like this week? Last week? I don't know. I think it was last week. On the 28th, we've got Fifth Brother turning 2 years old.
Oh. I mean, that's another one where it feels like they've been in the game for a really long time. but not really.
Well, those Inquisitors came in hot and heavy. I mean, it was... You remember CG was like, you're going to need them. You're going to need them.
Yeah.
You're going to need them. Trust me. Work on these guys. You're going to need them. And then every Galactic challenge you needed Inquisitors for. And every event that suddenly Fanatical Devotion, the assault battle came up. And it was like, 2 times a week for a minute. It was just constantly like, what? But yeah, Fifth Brother's one of those guys too. He's one of the core Inquisitors that survived. Like, you had your 5 Inquisitors, and then you get Grand Inquisitor. So now you don't need Second Sister anymore. So she's just in the dustbin. And then you get Reva, and now you don't need Ninth Sister anymore.
Yeah.
So, but Fifth Brother,
strong.
Good strong Inquisitor. I like him. I like the cut of his
there you
jib. On the 29th, we've got Ricka from The Bad Batch, turning 3 years old. 30th is the Mandalorian. That was your first Relic 7 character?
Oh, that was Bam.
It was Bam. Okay.
Yeah, Bam. Yeah.
But the Mando's still your dude.
Not my first Relic 7 of all time, but it was the first one where I'm like, day one. And so, I mean, think of all the characters that have came out over these years, and and I'm like, Bam's my whale moment, and I don't regret it.
We all gotta have, it's a rite of passage in this game, and if you have not had yours yet, like Jar Jar, it's too late to start, right? Well, I suppose if the pocketbook is, I suppose it's not too late. But man, these I feel like they're getting harder and harder to wail on, because there's no more like, just get them up to gear 12. That'd be fine. They don't give us that stuff anymore.
I mean, Relic 5, and we're happy now, though. I mean, that's exactly. Like with Jar Jar. I mean,
thank you.
Only Relic 5
for the low requirements. On the 2nd, we have Padme turning 5 years old, and I remember Padme was one of the more frustrating events. I don't remember who. I'm gonna open up about the Padme event here. I got some inside information. I remember when it came out, like, when there's a new event or a Galactic challenge and it's really, really frustrating. I have this thing that's like, I'm fully aware of it as I'm doing it. I try and try and try and try, and I keep failing. And so I will go on Discord and I'll write a whole dissertation about how this is a stupid event. I don't like it. It's stupid. It's too hard. I don't like it. And then without fail, I give it like 1 or 2 more tries, and then I just nail it. Maybe it's all been coincidence. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a mental hurdle that I have to get over. I have to vent, and then I can refocus. But with the Padme event, I specifically remember messaging. I don't remember exactly who. I say I specifically remember. I guess I don't. Someone in CG. I had a long conversation with someone at CG. Like the night of. I was like, hey, buddy. I don't think this is what we need to be aiming for. This is too hard. It's just see, and that's why we don't have CG on the show anymore.
There you go, right? That's why they got rid of our contact information on that one. But
it's been a minute, and maybe that's why. No, I can't remember who it was. It was someone I knew at the company that I just kept saying, like, this is too much, man. It's this is not my jam.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, especially when you're trying to lower gear it, man, that was something else. I mean, the amount of times and I was recording mine, and I just went back and looked. I'm like, wow, that's like 30 times you lost this. Like, and you recorded it the 34th time. I mean, so
jeez.
Yeah, that was painful. But
well, let's put that in the past. Happy birthday, Padme. Let's take a look at this week's upcoming in-game events. Brought to you, as always, by swgohevents.com for a list of past, present, and future events. swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. This week brings us on the 26th, Defense of Dathomir, where you get your Talzin shards and or Zetas, as well as a new Galactic challenge. This will be on Malachor. Bonuses for Rebels, and you're fighting against Empire. On the 27th, we have an Assault Battle, Places of Power. 28th brings us General's Command. That is the Fleet Mastery event for Finalizer. And then the 29th, oh my God, buckle up. It all happens on the 29th. Conquest is over, right? So that means Ultimate Journey is coming, which I still feel that has like the most generic name of any event in the game. Ultimate Journey, what is it? Oh, right. Ultimate as well as Proving Grounds. We also have a new Galactic challenge. We don't know the details on it yet, but that'll be another something to do. Additionally, we have Endor Escalation, an Omega Battle on Jakku.
Yes. And
Territory Battle is starting. And we'll be in the middle of Grand Arena. So
I know.
My goodness. Actually, we won't. Grand Arena will be wrapping, mercifully.
Oh, will it?
On Monday.
So the start will happen the next. Oof. I might have to like pre-plan, getting a cold and getting sick for that day. Because, I mean, that's going to be
call
my
my
secondary
boss tomorrow
job
and be like,
is going to
I'm
have to be like
feeling like I might be sick Monday.
Yes.
Yikes. Let's see. What else do we have? That's and Grand Arena sign up for week 2 will be on the 29th. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 events. Whew. Okay.
Man.
On the 30th, all we got, Stardust Transmission. That's the Fleet Mastery event for Profundity. And then on the 2nd, we will have the Fleet Mastery for Home 1. And that's it. But we'll be Territory Battle, and we'll be out there unlocking Mandalore.
Yeah, maybe. Day 1.
Day 1. Not even possible. I don't care. Don't tell me what's possible. Before we dive into this week's top stories, I want to give a quick shout out to our fantastic Patreon supporters. If you enjoy what we do and you want to be a part of our exclusive community, head over to patreon.com/Galactic War Report. Your support makes this podcast possible, and you'll even get access to the VIP section of our Discord server for some behind-the-scenes banter. Now then, punch it, Pop-Tart.
All right, so let's start off with some updates that we've had, because I think we got a lot that we can go through with this. But
sure do.
Updates-wise, like you said earlier, Tarful's going to be accelerated, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, just got done with it, so that means now Cal gets a little bit easier. It is pretty crazy that, isn't it only 3 times that they've had in a year the Cal event?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting to think about that. But
bring Cal back.
Yeah, right.
Bring him back. Put him in the... I'm ready. Put him in the journey guide. Let's do this.
Right. And so with that, another update that we got is Boss Nass is now farmable. So going to be on the dark side node 8D hard, but it just feels good to finally... I don't know. Finally, it feels like it's going pretty quick, but I'm ready. Let's start farming some Gungans.
I feel like the timing kind of hit me just right. That like I'm finishing up so many of my other projects that like, okay, yeah, let's do Gungans. Let's do it.
Yeah. And I mean, it just, I don't know. Jar Jar is going to come here in a second here, but
yeah.
Another part of the update, it looks like Datacron credit cap is up to 60 million now. That is helpful. Because it's funny how
much
quickly,
was it? It was 30? Yeah, okay.
I thought 30 went pretty quick. So
yeah, agreed.
So that'll be nice, be able to go through, and I've been using fleet currency for that to get up to where I need to be. It just always seems like I don't have enough. I just never have enough. Again, that's why they make this game. And then
Exactly.
lastly for this update here, territory battle rewards. Obviously it was interesting. We got a nice break from that. We're just going to get those rewards. That's going to be on the 30th. And then also too with that, they said if you are a guild that is alternating between the two, they will go based on your normal schedule. So that was one thing. So if for some reason if you would have been light side, or whatever. Yeah. So that way that'll be on the 30th. So that'll be really nice. And of course, another thing that obviously is going to happen real soon as we have May the 4th, which means that really if you're going to get all those territory battle rewards, and then we start moving into that time period where we're looking for those chewy shards, of course. So, man, but do you want to talk a little bit about that piece to it, or we want to wait on what else could be happening around May the 4th?
Yeah, no, let's jump in there.
Yeah.
I assume you're speaking of our Lord and Savior Jar Jar.
Well, we have a lot. That's the thing, is that we have a couple options.
That's part of it, right?
So the other thing too else that's there is going to be data mines. Data mines have came through.
Oh, those. Yeah.
And so with May the 4th, it's going to be so awesome to obviously Jar Jar unlocking if you are ready for that, obviously. But then also too, the Lightspeed Bundles could be making a return. Again, nothing that's we can't guarantee this is going to happen, but there's some pretty good information in the data mines. Yeah. And it's not just one. You have multiple different options. Yeah. And so looking at pricing wise too, it's honestly, I already got my credit card out. It is ready. Just here we go for a couple of them. So
yeah.
So which are the ones do you see that are coming out?
I feel like so this is how some of the players felt before when they were like, the first Lightspeed bundles, they're not for me.
Yeah.
And these ones come out and these ones are not for me, but it's going to help people. Like $15 and you've got a full Relic 3 Geonosian team. I've already got that. That doesn't mean I got to sour it, like that's a good value for someone who has that. I mean, that's always the caveat is if you have the $15 to spare, and everyone has to make their own calculations. Is it worth it? Depends, but I mean, 15's not bad. It's not the $10 ones that we got initially, because so sweet, right? There's a $15 Night Sister one as well. All Relic 3 Night Sisters except for Marin, which is fair because she's part of a separate kind of chase thing, so I get that. I mean, that's decent value, both of those. And the Night Sister one, I don't think I'm going to do it, because it's only like the Night Sisters that I literally do not use anymore that I would bump up to Relic 3. But if you got garbage Night Sisters, man, this one's a really good value.
Well, speaking of garbage Night Sisters, mine are very garbage. I mean, we're gear 8 and we have 0 that are in Relic. So I've been sitting here thinking, man, I really would love to have some good Sisters of the Night. And here we go. I mean, Relic 3 is not like, it's not, going to drastically change things, but I guarantee I'm going to get one more of those Galactic challenges better.
Yeah.
So, totally. I mean, and then to have, Night Sister Zombie, maybe being able to do a little bit of cheese with Daka. I mean, I might just go through and give him a couple other, relic levels just because,
Bump up DACA a little bit and you'll be, because my Night Sisters outside of, I should say literally only my core 5 Night Sisters are all Relic 3 except DACA's 5. Perfectly acceptable. They get the job done on everything except for the Assault Battle final tier, which is just obviously bananas anyways. Mm-hmm. But that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And what were the other ones? There's a General Skywalker one.
Yeah, General Skywalker. We have, with that one, you have both characters and you have actually you get Negotiator, 7 stars.
The whole fleet.
The whole fleet, yeah.
I don't think there's Marauder in there. I don't think Marauder.
No, I don't see it.
Still, I mean, that's a pretty solid fleet.
I mean, to go through, I mean, and then looking at
that one's 50 though.
That's 50, yep. And then the actual character bundles, there's a lot of them in there though. I mean, when you think about it, most of them are Relic 3 as well. It really is. I mean, just starting out to be able to now, back in the day when we had those, Rey, Kylo, Sith Eternal, now a General Skywalker, it really does bring you up a lot farther. In again having the Negotiator, even when you're lower on. I remember when I was first started. I mean, I'm sitting there going, "All right, Mace, we can do this." And then all of a sudden, when I got Negotiator, it was a big deal. But hey.
Yeah, I'm looking. I forgot. There's others. There's the Padme one. Padme takes them to Relic 5.
Yeah,
that's not bad. I kind of like that.
And it really, I mean, looking at it for me, I mean, I think it's going to be one person for me, and that's the hard part, But again, when you're looking at someone new, I mean, you don't have to, like we said earlier about that event, you are not going to have to worry too much. And really, I mean, again, Dooku gets Dooku up to Relic 5. If then you're going to utilize this to kind of make your bump up for, Lord Vader, I mean, it really does help.
Yeah. This would bump your Asajj up to Relic 5 too. For me, it would just be Asajj, and Droideka would bump up to Relic 5.
Yeah,
probably not for $25, but for a lot of people, it'd be a pretty good value.
I mean, for me, it's also Plo Koon. He's at Gear 12 for me, so it just, I don't know. It would be a little bit cheaper for me to go on the Night Sister side, and then
Plo's in the General Skywalker one.
Yep,
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of nice. I don't have him in Relics, but $50, I ain't doing it. There is a C-3PO one as well. It's just a bucket of Ewoks.
Yes.
It's only $15. You get all your Ewoks up to Relic 3, except for Ewok Scout and Princess Nisa, of course. But I believe that's the rest of them all. Yeah, the other 6 all bump up to Relic 3.
I wonder why not Scout.
Yeah. Like Nisa, I get it. Sure.
Yeah, Nisa I get.
It's a GL requirement. But Scout?
But poor Scout, I mean.
Yeah. That's just silly. Yeah, man. That General Skywalker one is loaded.
It is. I mean,
it's $50, but whew. What's the best one here? I think the Geos. That Geo one's.
Yeah.
That and the Night Sister. They're both just.
I just think those. Yeah.
What you need. I'd go for either or both of those.
And again, someone that is like, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing for both of those teams. Like, again, higher tier people, this is not going to be a big deal. Having Geos, or even Night Sisters, but, someone in my neck of the woods where, I mean, I feel like if I veer off the path, I'm going to, fall down to the wayside. So this really, like, $30, I have a grind that I probably would never do. And same thing with the one that was Rey, right? Like, it was just, okay, now it's a GL I thought I'd never get. Guess what? Now I got her.
Yeah. And that's great. That's perfect. It's good for the game. If people aren't going to farm the character, but you want it to be in the meta,
you
got to put it within reach. So
yeah. So
I love these.
Again, there's some goodies in there too. If you get a chance, take a look at the other data mine pieces to it. But it's an opportunity. I mean, we always have some fun stuff right around May 4th. I just can't believe we're almost there already. But
I know
I'm sounding my age. I'm like, man, I thought it was still February. But yeah. So let's go. You want to leave Jar Jar for last, or?
Yeah. Let's circle back to Jar Jar because first we got what else? We got the Mandalore business. So that's kind of interesting. It's a new, just like Zepho was in Territory Battle, where this is a bonus zone that you unlock, and you have to. It'll have a special mission for Mandalorians, Relic 7, which doesn't. It sounds kind of bad, but when you think about, everybody's got Relic 7 Mandos. If you're going for Bo, you got to have Bo, you got to have Bam, both at Relic 7, obviously, and then 3 other Mandalorians. So you're gonna have Paz and Grogu, right? So then just take another Mando up to Relic 7.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some of them already. So I mean, Jango's listed as Mandalorian, isn't he? I think
I was gonna say yes, but I think I was just thinking that because he's in the Crate Raid. Yeah, I bet he is. Because Crate Raid, when it launched, was still faction locked. So as long as they were a Mandalorian, it wasn't a list of characters when it came out.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, he is. So he is, and then of course Maul. A lot of people have those, and then a lot of people have Gar and Imperial Super Commando
armor
there too.
I mean, you've got you got a lot of Mando options these days. So maybe not armor Relic 7, but maybe now.
Who knows, right? Yeah.
she's fantastic. So let's see. So the special mission is a Crate Dragon fight,
which is cool.
So I don't know if it's exactly like the raid, or it's probably not exactly like the raid, obviously, but probably graphically they're reusing those assets. I would if I were them. So I think that's kind of neat.
I mean, it just takes me back to when we had in Conquest where with the Rancor in there. It just was kind of fun to do that mission and, play around a little bit with it. And so, I mean, if they do and they use those, I mean, again, it's just kind of fun. I think the Zepho missions and those things are pretty interesting if you can get to the final, that final tier, cool. I feel like in this case, I won't be disappointed if we get to see the Crate Raid or the Crate Dragon in there. And
I actually misread that. It's the Crate Dragon will be on Tatooine. That's the bonus that's the level that unlocks Mandalore. That makes so much more sense. I was like, it's neat, but why is it on Mandalore? Okay. Yeah. So much more sense. There's also going to be Relic 8 Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, who will have a special mission. Let's see. Relic 9, Bo-Katan and Mandalorian's mission. Cool. Hey, just more opportunities to get stars and whatever other, they're probably going to be giving out gear or some other goodies on that bonus node.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. So, I guess let's jump into this crazy old Jar Jar.
I feel like we've been kind of like, it's like we're trying to get through the other stuff to get to here. It's almost like, all right, we gotta. And now we're here. We gotta start saying silly things like how wooed.
All right, Jar Binks. He's in the game files, folks. It's real. This is not an April Fool's joke.
He is in there.
April's almost over, and he is in my game.
I actually turned on the sound and let it just go for a while to see if there was going to be any noise, but
not yet.
So not that I could tell that was a difference, but
so this guy, he's an agent of chaos. This is exactly what we were angling for. You were never going to get a Jar Jar that was just like, he's a good solid attacker. No, It's not going to be something like that. So he's a support character, and he has multiple mechanics that have a 1 in 1,000 chance. So, like, I mean, you're going to use him and you're going to know what he can do and what he can't. And even then, there's chaos involved in that. But every now and then, something absolutely insane is going to happen when Jar Jar's involved. And I think that is genius game design.
Yes.
Honestly, I've seen people going back and forth on Reddit about this, about like, I don't know, this seems like tuned a little wrong. I'm like, Jar Jar can't be tuned right. If you tune him right, you have tuned him wrong. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to be just absurd. So, anyways, let's go over one at a time here. His basic. It's called How Wooed, and it is deal special damage to all enemies. On his turn, one of 3 effects will occur. So not if he's assisting, but it's either going to inflict death mark for 1 turn to the healthiest enemy, which can't be resisted, if they have at least 3 debuffs. Or it's going to make the weakest Gungan ally gain damage immunity for 1 turn. Or all Gungan allies gain tenacity up for 1 turn. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like it. Additionally, this attack has a 0.01% chance to instantly defeat a random enemy, which can't be evaded. And I will say that's increased to a 1% chance if there are any separatist enemies. This attack can't be countered. So that's 1% is still garbage, right?
Yes,
we know
right?
that, right? Because like it's tempting to say you just don't want to set any separatists on defense anymore. But if they use Jar Jar, there's a 1% chance that you could regret setting a separatist. So I don't sweat that.
One thing though is I'm already thinking that every single time I'm going to think it's going to happen, and I'm going to be disappointed when it doesn't. Even though it's like going to be 1 in 1,000.
You're going to have a
chance,
little
I'm
notebook.
still going
You're
to
like, well,
expect
there's
it.
738 times it hasn't happened.
I mean, it's but I mean, I just that's what I love about this though is just the fact that I mean there is a very very small chance, like Dumb and Dumber.
So you're saying there's a chance. All right, his first special is this is an Omicron. His Omicrons are Grand Arena themed. This is called Big Boomas. Look, I didn't name them. It's my job to read them. I should try and do a straight read of this.
Yes.
His first special is called Big Boomas. Deals special damage to all enemies. If target enemy had protection, stun them for 1 turn. Otherwise, inflict them with 3 stacks of expose for 1 turn. 0.01% chance. All enemies lose all turn meter and are inflicted with fear for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, prevented, or resisted. Increase to 1% for separatist enemies. If there are any separatist enemies. If all allies are Gungans, all enemies are inflicted with plasma residue for 1 turn, which can't be copied. Plasma residue is this character loses 100% evasion. If this character becomes inflicted with shock, deal reduced massive damage to all enemies with plasma residue, then remove all instances of plasma residue. So, do you know what reduced massive damage is?
No, I don't.
Not a clue. Not a clue.
I mean, come on. There's somebody right now that's like, I do. But I mean, I'm impressed. I'm wearing a hat, tipping it.
Sounds like, to me, it sounds like that would be damage. If it's like, here's damage. I'm doing a visual, so all you audio people, I'm sorry. which is literally everyone. We don't release the video. Here's damage. Here's massive damage. Now you reduce massive damage, and look, we're back at damage.
You can just get damage. I followed that.
I don't know. That's how I read it. But while in grand arenas, and all allies are Gungan, then you also dispel bonus protection and protection up on all enemies, and they lose 5% max health and max protection stacking, which can't be evaded for the rest of the encounter. Then inflict the target enemy with protection disruption for 1 turn. Plasma residue can't be resisted. Whenever this ability is used, reduce the cooldown of all other Gungan allies' abilities by 1. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's really good. So, big boomas. God, it sounds like he's talking about something else. I can't.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, I have so many jokes I want to say, but we are a clean podcast, so I won't say them because, I don't know. We still got a half hour of this podcast. Maybe I will. We'll see. Next special is Weeza Warriors. Deal special damage to target enemy and a random enemy. Gungan allies recover 10% protection, 0.01% chance. All Gungan allies recover 100% health and protection, and gain 100% turn meter and foresight for 2 turns, increased to 1% chance if there are any separatist enemies. All enemies are inflicted with 2 stacks of frustration for 1 turn, which can't be copied. If all allies are Gungans, excluding summoned allies, for each different debuff on target enemy or random enemy that could be copied and dispelled, excluding stacking debuffs, that debuff is dispelled and inflicted on that enemy for 1 turn. These debuffs can't be dispelled or resisted. Just word salad.
Yes.
So much. But that's the second special. Wait a second, I lost it here. Oh, frustration. Okay, so all enemies were inflicted with 2 stacks of frustration, which we should define. Detrimental effects build based on the cumulative number of stacks. So if it's 1 or more, can assist or counterattack. 2 or more, whenever this character gains bonus turn meter, remove 2 stacks of recharge from the enemy shield generator and expose this character for 3 turns. And if it's 3 stacks, special abilities are unusable for 1 attack. Remove all stacks of frustration after this attack.
Wow.
Then he has 2 uniques, both with Omicrons. First one is an ability called Misa Okide. At the start of battle, Jar Jar loses 75% max health and gains that much as max protection, of course, and is inflicted with Death Mark until he receives damage or evades an attack. If the enemy leader is a separatist, at the start of the encounter, Jar Jar gains 50 speed for the rest of the encounter. Jar Jar's debuffs can't be evaded, and he can't be called to assist. Whenever another character gains foresight, Jar Jar gains foresight for 1 turn. Whenever Jar Jar gains foresight, he dispels it and blinds himself instead for 1 turn. Just ridiculous.
I know, right?
Just ridiculous. I can't explain why that's perfect, but that's perfect. Whenever Jar Jar evades a basic ability, the enemy that missed is inflicted with a stack of frustration for 1 turn at the start of the next turn, which can't be copied or resisted. Whenever an enemy dazes, staggers, or stuns a Gungan ally, Deathmark Jar Jar until he receives damage or evades an attack. If there's an active ally shield generator, Jar Jar has plus 1,000% evasion.
Just 1,000.
Whenever a character gains bonus turn meter, Jar Jar has a 1% chance of gaining a bonus turn. Gah. Increased to 10% if it is an enemy. Whenever this bonus turn occurs, Jar Jar can't gain another bonus turn this way for 2 turns. Thank God. While in Grand Arena and all allies are Gungans, Whenever the shield generator uses plasma pulse, reset all of Jar Jar's cooldowns. Whenever a Gungan ally is dazed, staggered, or stunned, they dispel it and gain shield up for 2 turns. Yikes. Okay. Yeah. And then last, we got... I don't even want to say. It is an ability called Mooey Mooey, I Love You. It's so bad. Gungan allies have plus 75% accuracy. If the enemy leader is a separatist, at the start of the encounter, all Gungan allies gain 50% max protection until the end of the encounter, or Jar Jar is defeated for the first time. At the start of the battle, if there are no Galactic Legends, all enemies are inflicted with a stack of frustration for 1 turn. That's powerful. Increased to 3 stacks if they are stealthed, which can't be resisted. If different enemies take consecutive turns, a random Gungan ally gains a bonus turn. Whenever Jar Jar misses an attack on his turn, all other Gungan allies assist once per turn, dealing 50% less damage. Whenever the ally's shield generator uses plasma pulse, Gungan allies ignore protection for 1 attack. If there's an active ally shield generator, Gungan allies can't drop below 100% health while they have protection and can't be instantly defeated. That last paragraph, I know I've read a whole book here. That last paragraph puts me at ease with the perceived weakness of Gungans. That what if someone could cut in and do Plague or Dooku, attacking through protection and just directly to health. But as long as there's a shield generator, they can't drop below 100% health while they have protection. And they can't be instantly defeated, which is not nothing. And then the last little bit is while in Grand Arenas and all allies are Gungans, at the start of the battle, the ally shield generator gains 2 stacks of plasma shielding for every 3 relic levels on Jar Jar. Whenever a non-Gungan enemy gains damage immunity, all Gungans gain damage immunity for 1 turn. Whenever a Gungan ally gains a bonus turn from this ability, they gain 5% mastery until the end of the encounter. That's pretty impressive. And I do, just before we move on, I want to go back and say, you set a separatist on defense, you only have a 1% chance of regretting it. That's every time he takes a turn.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be more than 1%, like a 10% chance something stupid happens in a Jar Jar match. Depending on how long the match goes, it could be much higher.
Well, I kept on, as we're reading through this, and even before when I was reading it, I just kept on going there's no way this kit is going to work right. And,
completely
and there's going to be
not.
No way that you actually know that this is going to be right or wrong. So it's if he randomly does something, you're going to be like, wait, what was that? Oh, was that supposed to happen? But
yeah,
I just think that this whole Gungan team, and again, I'm going to crush on CG for a moment. This is so interesting. I think even though this is maybe something where some people are man, this is horrible. Why they do this? I just think that this is one of the, how many years has this game been going on? And this is what they brought out for the Gungans is so interesting.
It is. It feels thematically, it fits. I love the way they've captured, not just how the shield generator works and how Gungans in battle work. Because that's cool, and I feel like they captured it. But to have captured the essence of Jar Jar, that there is chaos, but it is worth having him there for some reason. Doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not commenting on he's the greatest character in Star Wars. That's, of course, I'm not saying he's good or bad. I'm just saying this representation of him, really well done, I think.
Agreed. I mean, and it's
really
the same,
is going to feel like Jar Jar.
I mean, there's people that love Jar Jar in the movies in general,
Absolutely,
legitly, and so there's going to be people that hate this, but there's going to be people that don't. But one thing, guess what? People talked about Jar Jar, right? So I mean, and we're talking about Jar Jar here. Now, one little thing all the way at the end that thought too, I know we were talking ahead of time about this could be to Lord Vader, and of course, what doesn't, right? But
right.
But with this damage immunity, it basically means that if, with Kat, if they have damage immunity on her and then they get damage immunity, that means basically she can't delete, right?
Well, she already can't delete because if there's a shield generator, Gungans are immune to instant delete. Yeah.
True. I forgot about that too.
Jedi Master Kenobi, if you pass damage immunity over to somebody, like that Kat's little trick is worthless against this. Now, that's not to say that Jedi Master Kenobi couldn't beat it, because they still do a ton of damage and armor shred, and there's so many other reasons they're a very survivable, tanky team. But that little trick is right out the window. No, you're not doing that.
Yeah. I think it's so cool. Just the fact that, we're going to get to see this in action. I won't have it, right? So, but, we will know.
We'll see it online.
It's just gonna, what is this gonna do? Like, I can't wait for the next Grand Arena when they're in. I can't wait for, watching the top people go through and use these just to see what happens. And
I'm just hoping Darth Bane still beats it. As long as I got that, I'm fine.
Agreed. That's it. On defense, what it's going to be? Well, I hope that there's no whales around me in Kyber 2. No if you are, kidding. Then again, tipping the cap to you. But
yeah. So it's a fascinating kit. It's going to be. I have a hard time. Honestly, I'm not the smartest when it comes to reading a kit and seeing like how is this going to fit into the meta, especially when it's a whole new team. When it's a lifter unit, I can kind of see like, oh, well, yeah, that kind of fills a void there. That's cool. But when it's a whole new team, like I'm not the best at predicting hold percentages or any of that kind of stuff. I do think this is definitely going to have an impact in the meta. We're going to see it a lot. As confusing as it seems now, like we're all going to have to learn it.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're not playing it, you're going to be playing against it. If you're, Kyber-ish, But yeah, it's definitely not one of those teams that comes out and you're like, it looks all right. No, this looks like a powerhouse for sure. So, all right. So that's it for news.
Yeah. That's it.
Almost an hour in, and we just got done with
right? And we could have expanded so much more too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Grand Arena's done. That concluded, and that's fine. We got 5v5 starting up as we record on a Wednesday. I'm going to stream right after this. I'm going to stream my battles. We'll see how it goes.
And I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, so, that's what I should
that's
do.
Just
But I won't. I had a Red Bull before we recorded, so I'm good. I might as well be online. Okay, so speaking of things that have ended and transition periods, we've got Conquest wrapping up on Monday. Where are you at? Where do you think you're going to land, and how much work do you have to still do to get there?
Yeah, so I am right now a little bit less where I was last time. I think I was done at this point, and I was working on Datacrons. Done meaning like I'm going for second to last. I think for me to get red, could I do it? Maybe, but I keep on looking at it going, I would have to buy the second tier. So that way I can get the people back. And so, again, there's probably someone that looks at my roster and says, well, you could do it, but I'm not.
No, I get it. I could look at a roster and say, yes, this roster can do it, but it's also a 2-week process. And do you have the mental capacity?
Yeah.
And I totally understand that.
So I'm at 521 right now, about ready to go to 530. And then I think I'm going to get 1 or 2 more after that, just so I can get the Omicron. But I'm really at that point where my light side Mandos are not going to end up, unfortunately, they're not going to get to where they need to be. So it's one of those scenarios. I think these discs are not made great for trying to kill stuff with a lower geared team. But
unless it's got a lot of support characters on it. That's the only way. They got to be lightning fast and support.
And I didn't do a lot of Zealous this time around, so I didn't use it last time. But really, when it comes to the overall feat side of it, the only thing I have left is going to be my B1s. I mean, that one's going to get me where I want to go. And then I really, for the bottom tier, I was able to get all 4 of those. The only ones I really hadn't was really going to be the ones that just didn't make a lot of sense. I mean, Imperial Troopers, I could definitely do that one. It's not going to, like, I'm going to finish it, but it's not going to be a game changer. You know, I think everything in there, I mean, it's funny because I can do the expose, I can do the days, I can do all those things, but, you know, I feel pretty good. I mean,
as long as you're at the crate you want to hit.
Yeah, right.
Then those are kind of like, they're taken away from Datacrons sometimes.
Which, you know, I think it's going to be the least amount that I've farmed for that, but I think I'm in a good spot. You know, right now I'm at 141 for Padme. That's really not too bad. I'm going to end up being probably 10 short again, just like I did last time. And I'm okay with that. So how about for you?
Yeah, I'm doing much better than last time. I am at 614 out of max crate is 630, so I need 16 more. Unfortunately, there isn't. So one of the ones I'm working on is 15, and then I'll need one more, and all I can do is a 10-point thing. So I got to like work a little harder than it feels like you should. But we're really close to having both of those done. It's I need just a handful of kills with Imperial Troopers, like 20 or so. And then I think it's 4 more battles with no tanks in Sector 5. And then I'm done, and it's Datacron City. And that's good because I really stunk it up with Datacrons last time. You remember I kept like... it was almost the end of Conquest, and I only had 3 Datacrons. And I was like, I'm starting to worry a lot, you know? And so now when I look at my Datacrons, they're kind of fleshed out. I've got 5 of them up to level 9.
Ooh.
And then 4 additional. So I really don't need to focus on getting a lot more up to level 9. And I'm kind of at the point where like I've got the character ones that I can possibly use. So just trying to get more Datacrons because I could use a few more, and then pump a few of them more up to like level 6. Get some of those Jedi bonuses, Sith bonuses, that kind of stuff. I finally got my first Jedi one. I didn't have any Jedi bonuses, and I don't even remember who the characters are. I know Beck, obviously.
I have a Mace Windu that I did a refresh for, trying to get the Cal. Nope.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, I'll do one more. Nope. it's like, dang, man, I want the Cal one. So, but
I'm kind of thinking, you know, I'll take one Jedi one. It's level 7 right now. I'm probably going to take one of them up to level 9 just out of curiosity to see what I can get. But I don't have any of these Jedi at level 5, at Relic 5. So, like, if I get a Ki-Adi-Mundi, I might bump him up to 5, you know? Or Jedi Knight Cal would be kind of nice, because when he comes back, I am going to get him. Obviously, Beck would be nice if I were done with him, but there's a little wait period there, too. So, it's been going just a heck of a lot better, because I've been focused on it. It turns out that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Focus.
When
all right.
Have to.
One more thing. I know this is almost like an hour. This is a big show, guys. Big show with big ideas. But we can't just skate out of here. I know you want to go to bed. I get that. But you have an obligation.
I do.
You signed up for this. You gotta give the people what they need. You gotta let them know who you grinded.
Well, I just realized that, I mean, I wasn't going to tell anybody because it looks like the only thing that I did was delete last week's numbers of what things are. So, I'm trying to even expand this even more. So yes.
Oh goodness.
So it's gonna be a secret. It's gonna be a thing for me too. All right. So let's start off. Bo. Again, it's one of those things where I'm just working towards it, but I'm not really gonna go there just yet. But
yeah,
Kelleran had a good week. I mean, I've had a couple bad weeks. So he went from 56 out of 100 up to 80 out of 100, which is not too bad. So we're getting pretty close to it. Mm-hmm. And then I gotta say, my Jar Jar grind has started. So Boss Nass, guess what? You are now farmable. I got a whopping 1. So we went from 20 out of 30 up to 21 out of 30. We were about ready for that one. So
it's palpable, the excitement about that one Boss Nass shard.
There you go. But it felt good. I don't know. It felt good to start that grind. But so I'm at the end of Leia, and it is painful now. I mean, every day I'm just looking at those crystals. I'm looking at what do I need? And so all I had left from going from last week is 3. And so Backpack Chewie went from Relic 6 to Relic 7. We are done. And so then I have Kinesa and Scout Trooper left. And Scout Trooper went from Relic 2 up to Relic 6.
You can use her in a higher tier of the raid now.
Right?
That's good. I mean, she's legit in that raid.
So we're almost there. I mean, but that means only at Relic 2 for Kinesa. And it is, I got all of the shards ready to go. So all of the pieces to that. So it's really just signal data. Yeah. And I'm doing 4 100s. And it just isn't enough. Ugh. It just isn't enough. But yeah. So we are so close. I'm hoping, Scout Trooper, it's going to be that 3rd tier that I'm waiting on. So, I mean, it's really just going to be hopefully like a week to 2 weeks. But I am just so ready. And I've been also farming the dark side energy stuff. So at that point, I'm getting a ton of the computer Cairo. It's a computer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
the shock
ready to go.
I said, yeah.
And I mean that's the big pieces for it. Now for ships, that's the thing I have absolutely no clue. So thank you for letting me be unprepared.
Oh yeah.
So the BLT, again 84 out of 85. So we went up a star. We are up to 10 out of 100.
Ooh, look at you!
Right, and I went through and actually got it up to level 85, and then moved it from defense onto offense this week. So, we'll see. It's a whopping total of 41,000. So it's going to get nuked, but hey, it's at least going to nuke in style. Right. And then my Raven's Claw, it looks like we were 37 out of 85. We went up to 45 out of. Wow, I totally goofed that up. So 37 out of 65 to 45 out of 65. And nice. If you're wondering, yes, Sean is adding that information into here. So
I don't want to take your hands away from your game. Yeah. You focus on reading them out. I'll update the sheet.
And again, my surrogate mod holder, Mr. Loba, I got to definitely give you guys an update on that as well. Nothing good happened. I mean, every roll ended up not going anywhere for speed. So guess what we are still at 263, and that means I went 1 to gold and 3 times did not get anything else. So I might have to be switching up. That's tough though. That feels like that's a rough thing to go through and use all that time and effort type stuff and then get up to gold and to have 11 speed. That was a bad decision. So yes. So I had to obviously say unpreparedly what I did. So I got to understand and know also as well who you grinding.
Oh yeah. I hadn't really prepared anything. But let me just shoot from the hip here. My Bo-Katan grind is nearing its end. IG-12 and Grogu went from 90 out of 100 up to Relic 3.
Wow, nice.
It's happening, folks. It's happening. Keller and Beck went from 40 up to 65 out of 100. Tarful, got him up to gear 12, and like I've been gearing him, but I also kind of realized, like, I'm just so used to, if it's a character I'm going to use, I take him to Relic 3.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to use Tarful? I don't think I am. So I gave him his left side gear, and then I had that epiphany and said, maybe someday, but not right now, buddy. Not right now. So he's, I guess, done, right? Leviathan, if you recall last week, I mentioned the events coming, and I was going to see, like, am I going to be stupid and just refresh until I have a 7-star Leviathan? No, I did not.
No.
I refreshed 5 times, so I got a total of 60. So I'm up to 70 out of 100. I mean, next time it comes around, I only have to 2,000 crystals, and I got it. So, like, that's kind of how I looked at it. Like, I'm almost there. It's fine. Although, man, it's such a chump at 6 stars. It is such a chump. It's amazing at 7 and a chump at 6. So, I guess I'm a chump.
Salty.
A salty chump.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. Also, IDT. That's not it. ISC? Yeah. Imperial Super Commando is gear 12. He's in my favorites now because I don't know. When I'm looking over my gear 12s, it makes more sense than Tarful. And I don't really know if I'm going to be giving him gear because it may just make sense for me to accumulate some pieces, use him as a shortcut to accumulate some of those pieces. Because I'm going to need him for Keller and Beck. I'm going to need him for Cal. I'm going to need him for Bo.
Man, if you get Cal and Bo right around the same time, that's going to be a pretty good upgrade.
It's going to suck. Well, I mean, it's going to be great. It's going to, like, for the grind, everything stops, which is why Omicrons and Zetas, I'm not touching them.
Yeah.
I just gave Trench an Omicron last week, and I don't regret it at all, because especially I got his Datacron. So, like, that's awesome. For Territory War, I can't wait to place that. Also means I have to take him up to Relic 5. He's 3 right now. Not a huge thing, but I'm taking so many people to Relic 7. All the people I'm working on.
Right.
So, that'll happen. And then I have in my notes 33 out of 65. That's stat. To see that.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. I have no idea who that is. That's where he was last week. That's where he is now. I stopped because I need so much signal data. My Jar Jar stuff. I'll see your Boss Nass 1 shard because that's exactly what I achieved today. So that's something. And then, like I said, Datacrons, man, I did a lot of re-rolling after we lost this last Territory War and got some re-roll mats. And I spun a Geonosian Spy into a trench. And it's so nasty. I really like that. I don't know if I had it last week. I have a Sidious Kron. I think I had it last week.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to use it yet. I will be using it tonight as I attack.
Nice.
And then, yeah, I'm just focusing on getting more and more Datacrons. That's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend you complain directly to a CG employee when the game stresses you out. If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server. It's linked in the show description. You can become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review. Big thanks go out to Pabu Appa and swgoh.gg and swgohevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.